We have all heard the line, whispered like a secret promise, passed down through generations. It is a single, powerful sentence that ignites the imagination. We use only 10% of our brain. This idea is incredibly appealing, a seductive piece of folklore, a vast, untapped reservoir of genius locked away inside our skulls. The thought feels like a key to a hidden door. It implies that with just a little more effort, or perhaps a secret technique, we could unlock the other 90% and ascend to a new level of existence, becoming smarter, faster, perhaps even gifted with psychic abilities. The myth is not just a statement, it is a story of human potential, a narrative that makes us feel like superheroes in waiting. The enduring power of this myth lies in its profound sense of hope. It tells a simple, compelling story. You are more than you currently are. In a world that often feels limited, the idea of a dormant, superpowered brain offers a tantalizing escape. Movies have eagerly adopted this premise, depicting ordinary characters who suddenly access their full cerebral capacity and perform extraordinary feats, learning languages in minutes, manipulating reality itself. So, if the 10% myth is so demonstrably false, where did it come from? Pinpointing a single, definitive origin is like trying to catch smoke. The idea seems to have materialized from a fog of misinterpretations and apocryphal tales from the late 19th and early 20th centuries. One popular theory traces it back to the American psychologist and philosopher William James, who once wrote that the average person develops only a small portion of their full mental potential. He was speaking metaphorically about our capacity for growth and achievement, not making a literal quantitative statement about brain usage. It was a call to strive for more, not a neurological diagnosis. Over time, this inspirational sentiment was likely warped and simplified. As the quote was passed from person to person, the nuanced idea of mental potential was likely twisted into the more concrete and sensational concept of physical brain matter. Someone, somewhere, attached the arbitrary and catchy number of 10% to this misinterpretation, and a legend was born. It is a classic example of how a complex idea can be flattened into a simple, memorable, but ultimately incorrect soundbite. This new, simplified version was far easier to repeat and spread, taking on a life of its own independent of its original, more thoughtful context. Modern science, with its sophisticated imaging technologies, has provided a definitive and visually compelling rebuttal to the 10% myth. Positron emission tomography scans functional magnetic resonance. Imaging scans allow us to watch the brain in action. These scans measure changes in blood flow and glucose metabolism, both reliable indicators of neural activity. When someone is in a scanner and asked to perform a task, reading a sentence, listening to music, thinking about their day, the images do not show a small, isolated flicker. They reveal broad, interconnected networks lighting up across many brain regions. Even at rest, your brain is far from idle. Resting scans reveal the default mode network. There is no large, silent, unused 90%. Every part of the brain has a function and is active at some point. The brain is metabolically expensive, using about 20% of the body's oxygen and calories. To put the final nails in the coffin of this pervasive myth, we can, look at 3 clear and simple lines of evidence that demonstrate its falsehood. First, the study of brain damage. If we only used a small fraction of our brain, an injury to a supposedly unused area should have little effect. Decades of clinical neurology show the opposite. Damage to even a very small piece of brain tissue can be devastating, from a stroke, a head injury, or a tumor. Consider specific functions in different brain regions. A small lesion in Broca's area can make speech non-fluent. Damage to the hippocampus can erase the ability to form new long-term memories. Injury to the occipital lobe can cause blindness, even with healthy eyes. No area can be damaged without producing some deficit. Every part serves a purpose. There are no non-essential or spare parts. While the myth of the 10% brain is a captivating fiction, the truth is infinitely more inspiring. The real human superpower is not a hidden 90% waiting to be unlocked with a magic pill or a secret mental trick. The true wonder lies in the near limitless potential of the 100% we are already using. Our brain's incredible capacity for change, known as neuroplasticity, means that we are not fixed beings. We are constantly in a state of becoming with the power to learn, grow, and reshape our own minds through intention and practice. This is not a fantasy, it is a fundamental feature of our biology. The myth encourages a passive hope, a waiting game for a switch to be flipped. The reality, however, calls for active engagement. You can enhance your cognitive function, but it requires effort. The path to a better brain is not about activating dormant cells, but about building stronger, more efficient connections between the cells you already have. This is achieved through the things we have always known are good for us: focused learning, physical exercise, proper nutrition, adequate sleep. Make a conscious effort to learn one small new thing every single day. It does not have to be monumental. It could be a new word in a different language, the name of a tree you walk past on your way to work, or a simple fact about history. This act of deliberate learning stimulates your brain, creating and reinforcing neural pathways. It is like taking your brain to the gym. The more you challenge it with new information and experiences, the more flexible, resilient, and powerful it becomes over time. In the end, we should feel liberated, not disappointed, by the debunking of the 10% myth. We do not have to search for a hidden key to unlock our potential, because the door is already wide open. Our brains are fully online, fully engaged, and eagerly awaiting our direction. The true mystery is not what lies dormant within us, but the incredible extent of what we can achieve with the magnificent, complex, and wholly active organ we already possess. The question is not how much of our brain we use,